Let's go to Soumya. In fact, she's reporting from outside the South Block. In fact, this is the frame coming from her camera. And Soumya, if you have been able to spot the ambassadors, the envoys who have come and been briefed by India on the developing situation, what can you tell us about what's happening at the South Block?
Yes, we are right outside the Ministry of External Affairs here in the South Block. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs officials, specifically the Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri, is briefing ambassadors of select countries about the Pahalgam terror attack. Now, these ambassadors are of various countries, including Germany, Poland, the UK, Russia, Japan, China, Qatar, Germany, France, among others. And we are being told that the Foreign Secretary is briefing up about the Pahalgam terror attack that took place a day before yesterday. Remember, this move comes after India downgraded diplomatic ties with Pakistan yesterday, and the decisions were announced by the Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri himself during a press briefing, and the decisions were taken during the CCS meeting that was held at Prime Minister's official residence 7 LKM. Now it can be seen as an effort by the Indian authorities wherein they're trying to brief these officials of different countries, and there's an attempt to bring up a united front against terrorism, against those who are involved in terrorist attacks, against those who are the sponsors of the terrorism, and there's an attempt to isolate these sponsors of terrorism and terrorists. Back to you.
Yeah, significant that India is briefing all the missions and their representatives in New Delhi on the diplomatic offensive that's been launched. This is part of the diplomatic offensive, in fact, and whatever we have done to counter this menace of terrorism emanating out of Pakistan. Of course, these are just the first few tentative steps India has taken. It's going to build up. We are going to harden our position. Remember, yesterday we announced that we are just going to declare 3 of the Pakistani defense attaches persona non grata, and the SARC visa holders of Pakistani origin are going to, their visas are going to be cancelled today. We broadened the cover of that decision, and we decided that all Pakistani nationals having any kind of visa, including the medical visas, they have to leave India. The normal visas by next 72 hours, and in the case of medical visas by the 29th of this month, which is just about 5 days from now. And now we are hearing that envoys of G20 nations have been briefed by India, and that's a big one. Remember, India hosted G20 in 2023, and we are told now that all the G20 nations, their envoys, their ambassadors, their high commissioners, their charge d'affaires have been, the chiefs of missions have been called, and they have been briefed. That's a big one. G20 envoys briefed on India's diplomatic strike against Pakistan. Things building up. We are seeing absolute momentum coming in now in India's response to the Pahalgam terror attack. Earlier we had the Cabinet Committee on Security meeting last evening, a slew of measures having been announced, and on the diplomatic side we had things escalating with Pakistan, India suspending or putting on hold the Indus Water Treaty, which Pakistan obviously has not taken nicely to, because it really affects their economy, the backbone of their agricultural economy in much of Punjab, which is essentially the core of Pakistan. So Pakistan now saying that they will scrap all agreements with India, including the Shimla agreement. Does that mean that they are going to de-recognize Bangladesh, because recognition of Bangladesh was integral to the Shimla agreement? Okay, let's go to Soumya. She's there outside the South Block and where the envoys have come in. Soumya, over to you. Have all the envoys left? Are they still there? What's their status like?
Yes, as of now, as per the sources, the briefings are underway. These are G20 nations, the envoys of these nations, Argentina, Australia, China, among others, who are here at the Ministry of External Affairs headquarters here in the South Block. An important attempt by the Ministry of External Affairs today to put up a united front against terrorism and those who are the sponsors of terrorism against them. These are the considerated efforts that are being taken by the Indian authorities. Again, an important point to note here is that this comes after the important diplomatic measures that were announced by the Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri yesterday. More to follow. Stay tuned as we bring in more details from Ground Zero. We will be back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.